Hey, what's up, y'all? This is Aaron Gordon here, and we're back here with the Aaron Gordon Podcast. I am here with Ae'Rianna Harris, aka Ree, aka Ricky, aka most importantly Black
All the
Party.
names, man.
All the names. How's it going?
Man, it's going well. Going through this engagement process. I moved out of state too, so I'm not in Indy anymore. I'm in Nevada. I'm in Vegas.
I always wanted to move to Vegas, and I'm still thinking about it really heavy. I actually really do want to move out
Good,
there.
man. It's cheap. It's just hot. That's
Yeah,
it. Stay in the house and you cool. Like it gets up to like 117 over here.
yeah. We'll talk later about that, but let's get right into it. Obviously, you grew up in the hoop state. Well, people call North Carolina the hoop state, but we all know what the real hoop state is.
I would say,
We all know
okay.
what the real hoop state is. You grew up in Indianapolis. What was it like, growing up in Indianapolis playing basketball? Just in your, elementary, middle school, high school years. What was that entire process like for you? How did you get into it?
So I started playing because my dad played. He used to play at Indy Sports Zone, and so that's where I started in 2007. And then got into a school team. Then I met with the gym rats, and I was with them for my entire like AU career. Uh, then I started at Ben Davis, which was very known hoop school, and then
Yeah.
I transferred to Lawrence North uh, after my sophomore year.
Hmm.
And then after that is off to school and then overseas. So I mean, growing up in Indy, like you said, we considered the hoop state because I mean, it's not just about like the teams there and the schools there and stuff. It's about the
Hmm.
people that come out of that state and like go do big things. They usually all come from Indy.
Yeah. So, talk a little bit about that. Talk about the process of, going to Ben Davis, doing everything, going to Lawrence North, doing everything, because, I mean, you played on some really good high school teams. What was that process like playing with other players that were, really good, going to two really of the top, schools for women's basketball in Indiana?
So to be honest, Ben Davis was hotter before I got to school. Like they'd always had that name because of the championships and tournaments and stuff that they won. And so I was recruited to come to Ben Davis. I know you're not supposed to recruit,
Yeah.
but I was basically recruited to come to Ben Davis
Hmm.
because all growing up I lived in Pike Township, so I would have been
Yeah.
at Pike. But then after that, going to Lawrence North, still the same conference, toughest conference
Yeah.
in Indiana to admit.
Yeah.
Uh, it was still playing the same competition. I think what a lot of people don't realize is when you grow up playing basketball with people, the competition gets better because you're still playing with the same people. As
Yeah.
they get better and you get better, y'all each go to the next level together, even continuing on to play against each other sometimes in college and stuff. So like you with the same people. So for the most part, you kind of you kind of catch on to different people's styles of play
Hmm.
because everybody knows each other. We've all played with each other at any given time, any level in your career, whether it stopped after high school or whatever. Like you played with the same people, and then you knew people outside of maybe your conference or your city because you played against them in tournaments or y'all all play with each other in AU.
Hmm.
So as far as like competition and stuff, I feel like I won't say it stayed the same because it always changed. You always had new players, better freshmen, and it also it's obviously different levels of play because I mean I stayed in Indy for college. I went to Purdue,
Hmm.
so it wasn't necessarily the same because most of the people you grew up playing with wanted to play. They wanted to get better. They weren't just playing, as
Yeah.
a
Just
hobby
playing
like
just to
some people
play.
do.
Yeah.
Like just play to have something to do in high school,
Hmm.
get it put on your diploma type stuff. But uh, those of us who took it to that next level, you, it's always fun seeing everybody's different progression and what they do and
Hmm.
how they improve their game over time because obviously all of us are different. All of us played different positions the further we went through with our careers, but ultimately, I mean, most of us were still watching each other play.
Yeah. So what was that entire recruiting process like? So obviously, you had a dominant high school career. If people don't know, and what's so funny is like when I first saw you dunk, it was like the most amazing thing in the world in high school. Cause like I was just so shocked. What was it like, dunking in high school?
That Uh, to be honest, okay, so that was a whole separate tournament. Like it wasn't like a school tournament, but basically the people in the tournament recruit you kind of like all stars, except
Hmm.
for anybody could be on the teams. Like I don't think it was just an indie thing. So that particular gym, we had just finished up a tournament, and like
Hmm.
we were leaving, but like they had the gym open, so I went in there with I think uh my dad and my sister. We went in there, and after a couple of attempts, he started recording, and he just got the perfect one because
Yeah.
some of them other ones, if I would have posted that, that would have been a little embarrassing. But I only regret that I couldn't, like, I didn't have the time to put in specific work for my agility and like
Hmm.
get the confidence to be able to like do it in a game.
Yeah.
I'm still glad like I got up there, you
Yeah.
know.
So what was it? What was the process like? Obviously you were Indiana All Star. All that great stuff. You did all that great stuff in high school. What was the recruiting process like for you to go to Purdue?
So the story is I've always wanted to go to Purdue since I was like 4 or 5.
Hmm.
So that was the school I was looking out for when the recruitment letters started coming in. So like I think my very first one was Louisville, and then they just were coming from different conferences, different schools all over the country. But I was like just waiting for that Purdue one. It was like, okay, cool, cool, cool. Okay, I'm glad I got these, but I was
Hmm.
waiting for that Purdue one. And so when that one finally came in, we had started setting up visits. So I visited Butler, but I didn't realize how close Butler
Yeah.
was. I didn't
Butler's
realize it
pretty
was like
close
right
now.
downtown, like 30 minutes from the house. So we visited and it was cool, but I was like, yeah, I can't do this. This is too
Yeah.
close, you know? And then we went to ISU and that was cool too. But I mean, again, my heart was already with Purdue. So then when
Hmm.
we visited there, I think I committed that day. I don't think I wasted any time with that.
But the block party thing was well before Purdue, right?
That
That was
started
that was
in,
like your junior year, right?
mm-mm. I think that's when they started marketing it around me, you know.
Yeah.
But I got that name in like the 7th grade.
Seventh grade.
It's stuck since then, and I think that was still Wayne Township. I was at Lyndhurst for my 2 years,
Hmm.
so that's when it started, and then it just different. Somebody, AAU coach I had added to it, so he added the everyone's invited, and then that just kind of took off from there. But that was, I mean, that would have been high school because it was AAU. But
Hmm.
yeah, that name I got. I'm pretty
Seventh
sure
grade.
7th, 8th grade. Yeah.
Dang. Dang, cool. So what was it like obviously in college, having kind of like your own brand? Because obviously we in college then they're changing it now, but in college then you weren't technically supposed to have a brand and you had your own brand, like a national brand. Like what was it like having like your own brand in college? Because not that many people, would have ever experienced that.
To be honest, I'm just upset they didn't change that rule sooner.
Yeah.
It's like they're able now. I think the papers is signed. Like they're set. If they want to, they can make money off their names.
Hmm.
And I hate that it took this long, but I'm glad for all other students that have those opportunities, other athletes that have those opportunities, because I feel like I really could have made a lot of money off that
Oh,
name.
for sure. That's what I'm saying. Everyone would have been wearing block party shirts up
Like
in up
with
in
the
Mackey Arena. I could already seen it. I could like,
exactly.
yeah, like that shirt you got on BP 32. You would have seen that all over Mackey Arena in the
I
Purdue
said,
colors.
only imagine if I could have dropped my business a few years earlier. I can see all the commercials and stuff that they would have pulled off as for our marketing and our videos and
Yeah.
stuff like my senior year. All the interviews could be centered around shout outs to myself, make sure I got
Mhm.
the gear on so people could
Yeah.
see. I would have made a lot of money,
I
but
know you definitely would have.
man, it's
So
cool.
overall,
I'm
talk a little bit about that. Like, most people are not business owners. You are obviously a young business owner, not even 25 yet, and that's really the point in life where most people don't even think about having a business. What is it like, being an entrepreneur at such a young age?
To be honest, I've always wanted to be what I've been told as a serial entrepreneur. I want to open a lot of businesses and
Hmm.
open a lot of opportunities, not just like businesses like the one I have now. Like right now, I just sell the clothes, the hat, and stuff like that. But I want to open a bunch of different businesses.
What other businesses are you interested in opening?
So I want to open a coffee shop,
Ooh,
a
dope.
late night coffee shop. I got a cool little name for it. I ain't gonna put it out there just yet
Okay, okay.
because I'm still in that manifesting process. I'm still in the beginning stages. But I want to open a coffee shop. I talked with a friend who wants to open an escape room place. I
Ooh,
told him I definitely partner on that, help
I
design them
love escape
stuff like
rooms,
that.
man.
I love escape
I'll
rooms.
definitely support that one.
Yeah, I want to see what the process is like behind, because I mean you can obviously like look up different room
Hmm.
types, but ultimately you make it your own, and then you obviously can have more than one room in the building. So
Yeah.
uh, that I'm hoping actually happens, and then I'll let everybody know when that kind of happens. I want to own stores and stuff. I want to own restaurants and stuff. Maybe start my own. Me and my fiance are thinking about starting a couple businesses
Oh,
behind
what
wedding
type of
planning,
businesses?
like wedding planning and stuff, because we're
Oh,
both creatives. So
mhm.
she already does graphic design, web design. She designs logos, all that
Because you
stuff.
were into that too, right?
Yeah, that's what my degree was in, studio arts and technology. So I'm learning. I don't think I'll ever be as like advanced as she is, because she's got a lot of years of experience around that, and I mean that's what she went to school for too. So just a lot of businesses, like
Hmm.
not just obviously for us, but like I also want to create job opportunities for other people as well. So
Hmm. So, what sort of things that did you get into when it comes to the graphic design, and was it like certain things, like flyers, promotional stuff, like what sort of things,
so
illustrations?
to be completely honest, I don't have the creativity to do flyers and posters the way I see them done. Like I could, if I was told how to do it and given the pieces, like I want this way, I want this that way, I can make it. But off the top of my head, like I don't have that thought process. Even with like my drawing and painting and stuff, I always have to have a plan, because anytime I try and like just do stuff on the fly, I still end up like stenciling something out, painting over it and
Hmm.
stuff like that. Or when it comes to drawing, I'll always grid it first, just so
Yeah.
I can get stuff as close to perfect as it can be, even though I know perfect doesn't exist. That's how my brain works. Like it's not
Yeah.
like, oh, just draw this from your head. It'll turn into something it's not supposed to be.
Yeah.
So
So, what was it like, for you to go overseas and experience a different culture in Germany?
definitely a culture shock. I
Hmm.
feel like it would be for anybody, especially with the language barrier. I mean, a lot of people still spoke English, and
And the
learning like the
pandemic.
basic terms. Learning the basic terms was cool,
Yeah.
but their language is like it just comes off very aggressive. Like even
Yeah.
like when you're saying thank you or excuse me and stuff like that, it just sounds like you just always like cussing at somebody or yelling at somebody, even though like
Yeah.
it's not what it is. They obviously their language can be translated easily, and I mean you can understand what it is in English, but just the way it sounds coming from the native speakers over there is just very like rough.
Yeah. So, what was it like being over there during the pandemic? I know we talked a little bit about off camera. Obviously, playing and being in a whole different country in the pandemic is all, the pandemic in general was already tough. What was it like being somewhere else in the pandemic?
I think the good thing about it is we got tested every week. So, and I mean, if they felt like a test was a false positive, they still followed rules, did quarantines, and retested the
Hmm.
whatever players may have had that false positive and all the rest of us, so we could get back on the court and stuff. Um, so I won't say it wasn't scary, but it wasn't that scary, because I feel like they're taking it more serious over there.
Hmm.
Over here is everybody on their own. Basically, that's kind of how it seems with our government. But over there,
Hmm.
they were serious about it. Like I said off camera, in February, somebody came back from national team with a strain of COVID, a mutated strain. And so once they found that out, we had to shut down everything. We couldn't
Dang.
practice for like 2 or 3 weeks. We couldn't play, so we had to push our regular season into what was supposed to be our 2 week, like getting ready for playoffs. Basically,
Yeah.
we were so close to the end. Like we ended our season and then was like playing our playoff game like 3 days later. That's how far we had to push it back simply because of that one situation with COVID. Like any other time, they'd be able to figure out who it was,
Hmm.
retest them to make sure it's actually positive, keep us separated as needed, and still be able to get our workouts in, whether they were individuals or like by position and stuff. So they took care of it pretty well over there. I don't think it was much really to be afraid of, except for, I mean, obviously the fact that you could still get it no matter how safe you are. It's not always determined on, you following the rules, wearing a mask and stuff like that. But they were strict over there. Like
Hmm.
you didn't have to wear it outside, but you had to wear your mask in buildings. If you got it after you had been to a restaurant, so you like put your phone number down and where you live,
Hmm.
and if anybody in that restaurant got it, they'll send you a letter or send the police to your registered location and tell you, hey, this person had it when you went to this restaurant this day, and so you need to go get tested and you need to quarantine. Like they were serious.
Dang, that
Yeah.
is crazy. I couldn't even imagine doing that in a whole different country. So your eyes are set now on going to Belgium and playing.
Mm-hmm. They reached out to my agent, and my agent, I always have him run down like the pros and cons of and how he feels about different teams before I even accept like a call or something, because I don't want to waste coaches' times,
Hmm.
especially if I know for sure like, okay, that's not for me. Like I'm not gonna
Hmm.
sit up here and entertain you knowing I'm about to sign with somebody else. I feel like that's kind of rude.
Yeah.
But once they were adamant, and he liked the team, and I talked to the coach, and he basically explained what they were trying to do with their program next year and how things would play out. They gave me the contract to read over and all that stuff like that, and they were adamant. So I was like, you know what, I might as well.
Hmm.
I'm not I was never really in a rush because I mean it's Europe. It's a bunch of teams, and once you get that first year down, a lot more teams have access to like your video and stuff for recruiting purposes. So he was like, "I think it's a good team." I said, "I talked to the coach. I think they're okay too." I looked them up, and then after they did the release, I was able to like tell people about it. So
Dope, dope. So obviously, we talked a little bit before. Obviously, you live in Vegas now. What's that been like? Why choose Vegas at all places?
okay, so I'm gonna be honest. We were looking in South Carolina. We
Hmm.
were in Indy. We looked in North Carolina. We looked in Dallas.
Oh,
Well,
really?
I think we looked in Houston first, and
Oh, why
then
didn't y'all choose Houston? I know you liked Houston. I know you did.
see, I can't even say this next sentence because it's irrelevant. I was gonna say I've never been to Houston, but I
Oh,
mean I never been to Las Vegas before I moved here.
so
So
you telling me you were just looking up? I'm telling you, if you would have went to Houston, you'd have chose Houston
but
over
see, I
Las
think the
Vegas.
I think the issue was we were looking to get a house, and then we were looking at the flood stuff.
Oh
It's really
yeah.
bad in Houston, so we
Hmm.
were just like no, and so we switched it to Dallas, and we were finding places. But then she remembered that she visited this loft like 2 years ago, and she
Hmm.
loved it only because of the fridge. We literally moved here because she loved the fridge. That's it.
Because she loved the fridge. Oh my gosh. So
That's
we
it.
didn't even we didn't even announce that. So obviously you're engaged. What's that entire process like? Right now, you're moving into a different headspace, a different world. What's that been like?
To be honest, I feel like when you're ready, you're ready, and so it's not as tough as people make it out to be.
Hmm.
Especially if you're not even heading really towards the wedding process yet. Now, when you get into the wedding process, that's the part that's just gonna stress you out day to day,
Yeah.
no matter what it is. You'll try not to forget things. You try to remember people to invite and stuff like that. That's the stressful part. But the actual process, I mean, it was cool. I took her on vacation to Antigua a couple
Hmm.
weeks after her birthday, and we got a um, I don't know what they called it, but it was basically like a private dinner on the beach.
Hmm.
Uh, and they brought out all the different courses and stuff. And so in between, I think our main course and dessert, I was just like, all right. I had her. I posted the video. I had her looking in a viewfinder to a reel I created. And when she got to the last one, it popped the question, and I was behind her on one knee.
How nervous were you on a scale from 1 to 10?
I was holding my breath the whole dinner.
Oh my gosh.
I hope she knows that, but like she asked me at one point, she was like, "You okay?" And I was like, "Yeah." Then I turned to the side, like, "Breathe, dude. Like, what are you doing?"
Yeah.
I'm sitting there trying to say, like, just trying to keep a smile on my face, trying to pay attention to the conversation, not fidget too much. And after it happened, I was just like, all right, cool, finally. Because I had to
Yeah.
call it in for a minute. Like, I had that plan for a month. And it was just so hard because there was just times where I wanted to just like send her, hey, we going on this trip, or send her pictures of the ring. And I was like,
Yeah.
do that.
Dang, that is so crazy. That's so crazy. So obviously, what do you plan on doing when you're with her? Is she moving overseas with you?
Yeah, so that's what we've been talking about it, trying to get the whole visa situation figured out because in Europe you can't go over there for longer than 3 months without the proper visa, no matter who you are. But
Hmm.
if you're not married or you don't have children, it's kind of hard to get your family over there if they want to stay for that long period of time. But it's really easy to just get a like traveler's visa if she was only to come for like the 3 months that you're allowed.
Hmm.
So we're gonna move over there, stay over there for the 8 months, and then we'll be back here.
Dang, dang. So that's dope. So do you plan on moving anywhere else?
No, I think we settle here for a little bit. Um, until we start looking for houses, then we'll figure out where exactly we want to stay. But I mean, we don't have children, so we travel as much as we
Yeah,
can.
travel as much as you can before you get children, because then everything's gonna be way harder.
We got use. We understand that everything gets way harder. So we not there yet. So we travel as much as we can with the time that we have.
So how long do you plan on playing? Or you don't know yet?
We keep saying till the wheels fall off. 'Cause
But that could be at like 40.
exactly. But at the same time, once I get into the position to where I can bring these businesses to life and I start having a steady income and I won't need basketball, then I might phase it out and pick
Hmm.
to retire. But until I get to that point, I mean, it's fun and you're getting paid to do it. So, and you could travel the world, so you might as well.
Yeah, I mean, you don't really get better than that. I'm telling you, like, I think a lot of people, look at overseas, and I know it is a grind, but when you're able to travel the world, like, that's a whole different thing. What has traveling, you think, done to your entire worldview, your entire experience of the world? What is, just traveling abroad, taught you?
To be honest, I'm thankful for it because I know a lot of people don't get these opportunities. And I know a lot of people didn't get the opportunities in college, like some colleges do. So like we traveled in college. We weren't just in the States the whole time. So that kind of helped. And then I mean my mom, she's a travel agent. So she tries to get us to go places as much as we can, like group trips that she does out of the country. And so I don't think basketball only helps with, that worldview, but I think it definitely helps in terms of like improving yourself as a player, seeing different parts of the world and experiencing different cultures under different circumstances instead of it, always being a vacation, being somewhere, having to live there and work there and stuff like that.
Dope, dope. Well, anyways, thank you for your time. Like I always say, I really appreciate it. Hopefully, you can come on my news channel and we could talk some basketball, some NBA basketball, because I know you watch a ton of NBA basketball and then a whole bunch of other news stuff. So
Not watch the NBA.
you don't
I don't really care to watch professional sports outside of watching specific people. I don't have the attention
really?
for it. Yeah, no, I can't do it.
What? Okay, we got to keep this podcast going. What? So you don't watch the NBA at all?
Mm-mm.
You watch the WNBA?
Watch the game intentionally. If I ever watched it, that means it was on the TV and a whole bunch of other people were watching it, or I was watching it for a specific reason, like something I probably saw on social media or something.
So what other things are you really into in terms of just things that you watch and pay attention to?
To be honest, if the TV's on, it's probably something I've already seen a million times because I don't really watch TV. So if the TV's on and it's not a movie, then it's probably just running as background noise for anything else that I'm doing.
Dang, that is crazy. So like, what other things do you do? Do you normally just write?
No, I paint and I got a piano upstairs.
Oh yeah, it is right. You do know how to play piano. I forgot that. You're like a multiverse person. I think that that's what we need to quit doing. I think people need to quit watching TV because then I wouldn't think so badly about myself if I quit watching TV. Maybe I learn how to play the piano and know
People
how to paint,
compare
learn how to
themselves
draw.
subconsciously. People compare themselves to the things that they see on TV, and I try
Yeah.
not to put that stuff in. On top of the fact that I told you I don't have the attention span to be watching certain stuff. So like I
Mhm.
can watch a WNBA game in person and be fine. Watching on the TV, I'll probably get to halftime and forget what I was doing. Like so that doesn't last long. Football games don't last long.
Oh yeah, football games don't last
In
long for
person.
a lot of
And
people.
even in person, you still don't want to stay the whole time because it's
You want to know surprisingly what's so crazy? UFC fights that captures my attention the entire time. I don't know what it is, but UFC fights, like even boxing, can kind of to me get a little, but UFC fights are just something that I just latch on to.
yeah, I love seeing those clips. Those be cool. It be some cool stuff, and I'm just like, that's their cup of tea. Like,
Yeah,
okay, cool. I wouldn't do it, but
yeah.
you got it.
But anyways, where can everyone follow you out? Instagram, Twitter. You can promote your business. I think we done already covered that. The block is
Yeah.
it block is it it's
It's,
blockparty32.com.
no, it's BP32 dot
Okay, BP32.
yeah .co. I know a lot of people like com, but to be honest, when buying domains, co is cheaper.
Hmm.
I have to spend $60 a month to use .com.
Oh, I didn't even know that. Maybe I
Well,
should change
it
mine.
depends on what the name of your stuff is, but like
Yeah.
what you go through. .com is usually more expensive, and then like the other ones like .org and stuff like that, you got to prove that that's what your site is about. Like some of them, people don't realize that those I don't know the name for them, but like the .com, .co, .org, those all have like meanings,
Hmm.
and people don't understand that. Like some of them, you'll only find like educational information. Some of it, you'll only find government information. So like
Yeah.
you can just pick what you want.
Yeah. .gov, .com, .net, .org.
All of those got different meanings. But on my Instagram is block.party. That's
Hmm.
it. And then I obviously got a Twitter for the website, but that's on the Instagram as well. You can find everything on the Instagram, the business page, website, and then personal stuff.
For sure, for sure. Well, anyways, like I always said, thank you for sharing your time. I know a lot of people got a lot out of this, a lot of inspiration, a lot of great things, and I highly appreciate it.
Of course, of course.